in this example, now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to take the cube roots, or I'm going to tell you how to take roots of variable expressions. So we talked about numbers, and basically numbers is what you guys are familiar with, right? When I'm saying the square root, you're just trying to think of what numbers multiply by itself twice. When you're looking at cube root, Paco, you're thinking about what numbers multiply by itself 3 times. Fourth root is just going to be what number multiplied by itself 4 times, all right? So it's sometimes nice when we look at variables, because variables, I think it's it's very easy to find what we call the linear factorization, which we'll get to in a second. But what I can do is I know that I can rewrite the cube root of x to the 5th as x times x times x times x. Renee, could you move to another seat in front of you, please? So you're facing forward, please. Thanks. So does everybody agree that x to the 5th power is the same thing as how I wrote it up there? Does everybody say that? Is x times x times x times x times x the same thing as x to the 5th power? Yeah. It's the same thing, right? What's nice about this, though, is remember, what does the cube root say? The cube root says, what is a number multiplied by itself 3 times? Well, we have a term. We have x multiplied by itself 3 times. So the cube root of x times x times x is just going to equal x. So the cube root of 3 of my x's is just x.
Why?
What does cube root say? The cube root says what number or term multiplied by itself 3 times. So here, this is what I started off our first notes with. The cube root of x cubed is equal to x. Why? Because what does x cubed represent? X times x times x. Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys agree with me that x cubed is the same thing as x times x times x?
Yeah.
I'm not done yet. So if you understand that x cubed is the same thing as x times x times x, the cube root says what number multiplied by itself 3 times? Well, the number that's multiplied by itself 3 times is x. So the cube root of x times x times x is just x. So when we look up here, I group together 3 of those x's. And I can say that the cube root of x times x times x is just x. Now, for the remaining, now I still have 2 more x's. I cannot group them, because remember, to take the cube root, you have to have 3 x's. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I only have 2 x's under the cube root. If I had another x, I could take the cube root of it. But I only have 2. So therefore, my final answer is x cube root of x squared. Yes, Mario?
Lost me.
Huh?
You lost me.
Why do I have to move them? Because